Hello and welcome to the Whiskey Dan Radio Show. Tonight we have Sugar Tit Blueberry Moonshine. Sugar Tit, and on the bag it's spelled sugar, and then tit is in all caps. So I'm already behind this. We have Ashley again on the show because everybody likes Ashley.
Woo!
So
I don't know why. Thanks, guys. I do what I can for the people.
Yeah. Big people pleaser. Before we get into it, I want to talk about today's sponsor. We actually do have a sponsor now. Let me get the notes real quick. Oh, yeah, that's right. Nobody gives a shit. Okay, never mind. No sponsor, just alcohol. That's the show. Whiskey Dan Radio. Glad to have you along. Glad to have Ashley here. Again.
You had me there for a minute. I was like, who the fuck would sponsor?
Exactly. You know, like, to the point now where it's like, hey, like a dollar a show, because this stuff is not cheap. Drinking spirits like this. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and have a sip because I haven't had it since I first tried it.
I haven't. So, when we went, we were in, and they covered that.
Mama! That was good.
They covered it in the last show, but they went to South Carolina. Oh, we didn't talk about it?
I hinted at it.
Oh, you want to tell it then?
I mean, you were there too. You can tell it.
Okay. Well, we went to this Moonshine Distillery while we were on vacation visiting Dan's family, and that's in South Carolina. And it's technically, the town is called Sugar Tit.
Or like the community.
The community, yeah, but it's not too far outside of Greenville. And so what they did is, y'all know those little communion cups that you drink grape juice out of if you go to church, if you're not a sinner. And
sinners go to church.
Anyway,
it's kind of the whole point.
I can't hear out.
It's probably just it's fine.
Okay.
They give it to you in little plastic
They
communion cup.
They give it to you in the little plastic communion cups. And how many were there?
Okay, so there was 14 different types of whiskey, and to do the taste test thing, it was $5. I might be right here. To do the taste test thing, it was only $5. But since they had 14 different types of whiskey, and they filled each one of them up, and you were done with the tour in like 10 to 15 minutes, you had like 3 to 4 shots in 10 to 15 minutes. So you're kind of inebriated, and then that's when they do the sales pitch. So, of course, I bought 3 bottles because it all tasted great. And then the fruit one that I got was they had like a peach, an apricot, an apple. I think I had a blackberry one, but I got the blueberry because fucking like blueberries.
Yeah.
And that's the one I got. And this one particular batch, it is 40% alcohol by volume, so 80 proof. And it's a fifth, and it comes like a big ass mason jar.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the fucking foresight to get like the little plastic thing that you could screw on the top so it pours out like regular liquor. So now it just every time I pour it, it spills, but it's okay. Tastes really good though.
But really it writes on the side what the batches is like. Batches 386. So that's pretty cool. Like, they've made quite a few. She was even nice enough to let them. I didn't do any of the taste testing because I know I'm a lightweight. So if I had 14 of those little mini shots, I probably would have been on the floor. And I probably won't even finish this entire glass that Dan has poured me tonight.
It's not that much.
It is for something that's 80 proof. I'm a lightweight.
Boo.
Like
boo.
120 pounds, don't really drink much, lightweight.
You'll be fine.
2 beers and I'm good.
If you are in the Greenville, South Carolina area, or actually it's only like 2 hours outside of Atlanta, I would highly recommend checking it out. It is an old pharmacy from like the 1850s that they renovated into a distillery, which is pretty cool. I would highly recommend going up there. The actual physical address is, let me find it, it's on the stamp card. Oh, yeah, 330 Main Street, Reidville, South Carolina, and that's Reidville, South Carolina. Zip code 29375. I will put this in the description. Check it out. If you're a Texas listener, sucks to fucking suck. You can't order shit because the state of Texas makes it where you can't order any alcohol on a mail order service. Like most other states you can do that with, but no. Fuck me, right? So, oh well.
I just realized what that tasted like. So this is my first time tasting this. And if you...
What'd you think?
If you took a blueberry Pop-Tart and melted it down and just dumped a shit ton of like grain alcohol on it, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's Actually, yeah. What's cool, I didn't know this because I'm a degenerate, but moonshine is just a fancy term for corn whiskey. I didn't know that. Like, it's just made like straight from corn, and there's no grain in it.
Yeah.
I'm certain some moonshines probably have grain, but most of it's made out of just straight up corn, and that's why it's clear.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I never thought about that, but yeah. And yet, here we are. I would highly recommend it. It's hard to get. A lot like that Fraser Valley gin. If you live in Texas, you just got to go to Fraser Valley, Colorado. Likewise with this, you got to go to Reidville, South Carolina. Middle of butt fucking nowhere, but it is really cool. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was really nice. And she was, the person who was giving them the tour was nice enough to let them eat a few blueberries, because in this one, there's just a shit ton of blueberries at the bottom of the jar.
Not a shit ton. There's probably like 2 dozen.
To me, that's a shit ton.
Okay,
but,
whatever.
I mean, for putting fruit in alcohol, I mean, you don't see that very often.
Yeah, I guess so.
But she was telling us a story about how one of her friends was snacking on the blueberries, and you're like, dude, you can't do that. You're gonna get really trashed there. And she's like, oh, I'm fine. She gets up, she fell on the floor.
It's I guess it's like eating the worm, but with less protein. It's fruit, so it's more fiber.
I think if you just eat a fucking worm, you've got problems.
What about like an earthworm?
No, I eat a fucking earthworm.
I mean, I'm not going to. I'm just wondering.
No.
For all the earthworm eaters out there.
That's something to look into, though. Why does eating the worm in tequila actually make you sick or hallucinate? And if so, why? I want to.
Well, first of all,
y'all want to email.
First of all, tequila is a narcotic and shouldn't be ingested at all. Also, because like you think about it, like the berries and stuff in here, fruits or whatever, it's like really concentrated, like amount of alcohol in there. So it's like it's a similar thing. But yeah, you shouldn't. Tequila is just disgusting.
It's good in margaritas. That's where I draw the line. Margaritas is it.
Yeah, but like if you're just doing like shots of tequila.
Oh, you're insane.
Yeah. You clearly want to disconnect from reality.
Like, I used to do shots of tequila with my mother. My mother is a diehard tequila fan, Patron or nothing. Stays in the freezer. But I couldn't do that. There's this really, really rough tequila, and it's called CAW, C-A-W, and I believe that's how you say it, or how you spell it. But it comes in a Sugar Skull bottle, and that Patron is so smooth. And you know I don't like Jose Cuervo, but I will take Jose Cuervo over CAW. CAW is we need to look up what proof it is, and I'm going to, but it is the worst thing. You can chase that shit with probably 5 drinks and still taste it. It burns. Oof. I don't like it at all.
It's like the scotch of tequilas. But I like that. At any rate, yeah, Sugar Tit Moonshine. And I got 2 more bottles, which those will be coming up on episodes in the future. Maybe not all in order. Just kind of depends. But I will be reviewing those later as well with guests. All of that being said, that brings us into today's topics of discussion. You know what we're going to talk about?
I'm kind of afraid because he wouldn't tell me before.
We're going to talk about sports, damn it. Because I finally got Ashley to come to a hockey game. And
here's where I start drinking.
Let me tell you that, first of all, the game fucking sucked because the Stars played the Calgary Flames and got, like, demolished, like, 5-1. And then after that game, the Stars decided to go on, like, a fucking awesome winning streak. But,
of course.
Of course.
If we go, the next game we go to, they'll
actually playing tonight against the Buffalo Sabres at home, but whatever. I need to check score on that. Anyway, what were your overall thoughts? Like, how did you enjoy the atmosphere?
On the game?
Or did you at all? Yeah.
Oh, I loved it. Honestly, like, I didn't... Dan was always trying to get me to watch hockey, but I just wasn't really into it. And to be fair, I have a lot of shit going on. I've been in school. I'm working full-time. You know, I've got my own place, and I'm just trying to get my life together. So hockey wasn't really on the front of my list. Sports just aren't in general. I used to play sports and I like them, but Anyway, you asked me how I felt about it. And once I went, the atmosphere is just so great. They do a really good job of entertaining the fans, but it doesn't even need all that too, because it's great to be in that kind of atmosphere where all the fans are so psyched to watch. And it's funny because even when they're losing, they're still so pumped. It's so funny. Like Pantera is playing in the background. Green stuff is everywhere. The mothers and their kids are screaming. The kids could be like 5 years old, and they're screaming, "Come on, get your crap together. You need a nap."
Yeah.
And it's so fun to watch the kids bang up against the glass when they get into a fight and they hit the glass. And it's like, yeah, get 'em!
Speaking of fight,
it's so fun.
Last Tuesday when the Stars were playing Colorado Avalanche, Jamie Benn got into a fight with one of the guys on the Stars, beat the shit out of him. It's fucking great. Stars came back, won the game, which means they got a 4-0 clean sweep against the Avalanche. Suck at Colorado. You might have weed, but you don't have a good hockey team.
Yeah.
Actually, the Avalanche has historically been pretty good, and they actually have a Stanley Cup. But, beside the point. But yeah, I thought that was a fun game to watch for sure. Oh well, yeah, I really enjoy the hockey games. I would recommend many people to go to. Like, if you like have a lot of friends that are into sports and you're not yourself into sports, you should just try hockey because the games are way cheaper. It's like going to a basketball game or a baseball game because like NFL, which is like, you know, football is the most popular sport, like a D1 college game and like an NFL game, crazy expensive to go to. And also, especially like a college game, the stadiums are so damn big, you can't really even enjoy the game because you're like, to get like reasonably priced seats, you're sitting way in the fucking back, like in the corner. Like it's hard to see the plays and all that stuff develop. But hockey, there's 82 games in the season. They play like 3 nights a week. It's super easy to get into. A lot of fun stats. If you go to minor league hockey, sometimes it's more fighting than hockey.
Yeah, but like, so how much did you say on average our tickets were when it's not a playoff? So we sit, I guess, well, I say I went one time, but when
I
Dan
usually
goes,
get the nosebleeds.
The nosebleeds, but it's in the corner pocket. That's where we sat, and
Yeah.
I really liked that because you could see everything. You weren't pressed. Like if you were further down, close to the ice, you really couldn't see, and you'd really have to strain to constantly look back and forth. Whereas
See where
when
the
you're,
puck's going,
when you're up in the nosebleeds, you're just looking straight down. It's better than watching it on TV. It's just great.
Yeah.
And it's fucking cold in there.
Yeah. Oh, there's ice.
Yeah. But it's really cool. American Airlines does a good
American
job.
Airlines Centers, I actually really enjoy that stadium. But yeah, I think the most I've ever spent for seats is $50, and that was when the Blackhawks came, and we sat like dead center at the very top. So like it was a solid seat, but I prefer the corner boxes because there's really you can't really lose where the puck is if you're sitting in the corner. Because if you're sitting on if you're on one of the long sides, if they're playing really close to that side, it's hard to see what's going on. Like unless they're playing like in the corner that you're on, then it's hard to see. But for the rest of the game, you can kind of see everything. You get to see the goals and stuff. It's pretty fucking cool.
I liked it.
But yeah, some games like on a weekday, like if you're playing like like Thursday or Tuesday, and they're playing like a non-conference, non-divisional game, like they're playing like the Islanders, which is part of the Eastern Conference, you can get tickets for like $20. Like they're like dirt cheap. It's ridiculous. And then if you live in the DFW area, like you can just take the DART train, just drop you off like right there at American Airlines. You could ride that for like $3. Only downside, it's like $11 a beer up there. It's mildly annoying considering I could sit at home and just drink Old Milwaukee for 50 cents a beer. But oh well, I digress. I mean, you can't get that environment, and it's a lot of fun. I would highly recommend going.
Oh yeah.
To people who aren't into it, and the games are super available.
Yeah.
You know, there's usually Saturday games. There's always games on Tuesday and Thursday.
Don't expect to buy your gear there. Like you can.
Yeah, just wait for like Fanatics or some shit to do a sale.
Yeah, because my mother last minute was like, "Hey, I really want a jersey," and I just looked at the regular ones and they were $180, and I was like, hell no. I'll buy you a jersey on a different site, cheaper.
I mean, that's how much they're online. Like if you went to Fanatics, but a lot of times they do like sales, like 20% off, some shit, makes it a little bit more affordable. Or you could always just go on eBay and you can buy like a throwback one, like an old one from the 90s when it was like shaped like an actual star. You can like a Mike Madonna one. Yeah, it's like the darker green.
I like those more, actually. I'm not too big on the Kelly green, to be quite honest.
I like the Kelly green. Well, because the Minnesota Wild has like a similar color. Like they use like a dark green.
Now they use a dark green.
Yeah. Because Stars used to play in Minnesota. They were the North Stars, and they moved to Dallas.
Yeah.
And then, like, I forgot what fucking year. But Minnesota, they use, like, a dark green, like a red and black. I mean, it looks good.
So why are hockey jerseys more expensive than football jerseys?
Oh, God, no. Football jerseys are far more expensive.
Are you kidding? Like, I bought, and I'm not going to tell you how much I spent on your Strahan jersey, but I paid significantly less than...
Okay, the jerseys that they were selling at the store up there were like the authentic on ice jerseys.
Yeah.
Like the ones that that's made to the quality what the players are going to wear. Mm-hmm. The Michael Strahan jersey that you got me, it's, don't get me wrong, I love it. But it's not like a built to go over pads jersey.
Oh, so the ones that... Oh, okay. But
yeah.
Even when you go on Fanatics, you can get like a jersey that...
Yeah, you can get the cheaper ones. But if you also go on Fanatics and say you go to like the football, any football team, you can go to like the authentic on the field jerseys.
Oh, no,
that are like
I'm never going to do that.
$350.
I'm never going to do that. That's bullshit.
Yeah,
no.
It's very expensive.
No. Hell, I'll just go get a fucking t-shirt.
I'd rather just have a hat.
Yeah. I love my beanie.
Speaking of football... all right, so we are about to enter your NFC and AFC champions, which I still, because I'm a fucking sports historian for some reason, I still call it the NFL and the AFL championship because I prefer that. Okay, just bear with me here. Okay, first of all, who do you have in the Super Bowl out of the four teams that are remaining?
That I like?
No, like who? Yeah, we got the Chiefs, Titans, the Niners, and the Packers.
The Chiefs.
You want the Chiefs to win out?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm holding on for Pat Mahomes because it's the fact that
hometown hero.
Okay, but here's the thing. Like, you got to have some sense of loyalty to somebody that is our age that has the skill to get up and do what we can.
There's a lot of guys out there that are our age.
I know, but like it's just it's a good hometown pride kind of thing. And I'm not even from White House, but close enough. I mean, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's very get together and support somebody who's actually gone above and beyond to do what they want to do.
Okay, so fun fact.
And the fact that he will make so much more money just right now than I ever probably will.
You know what NFL stands for? It stands for not for long, which means like the average career is 4 years. So, like, yeah, a lot of people make, like, a lot of money, but that's, like, a very small amount of the, like usually on, like, quarterbacks and maybe some defense players, maybe, like, a running back, receiver, makes, like, a shitload of money. Mm-hmm. Most of them make really good money for, like, 6-7 years.
Okay, but really good money for 6-7 years, that really good money, that nice paycheck is something I will never have, and they will probably have more in those 6 and 7 years of them playing NFL than I ever will obtain in my life.
Not really, because a lot let's say like an outside linebacker who was like an undrafted free agent, like he wasn't picked in the draft, he played college ball for like a D2 school, then he gets signed by the Jaguars, Jacksonville, whatever. He gets signed to like a rookie contract, which is capped at like a certain amount. And I don't know what that number is, but I mean they're making a couple, $100,000 a year, but most of them are only going to play for like 4 to 6 years.
That's a pharmacist's salary.
But you can be a pharmacist for 25 years and then make that amount of money.
Yeah, but I'm not a pharmacist.
Yeah, neither am I.
I get paid below a teacher's salary.
Yeah, and I hook up with U-Hauls for a living, so fuck me, right? Anyway, okay, so the early game this Sunday is Tennessee Titans playing Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. The last 2 times that these two teams met in a championship game was 1962 AFL Championship. And for all the fucking nerds out there, the AFL is the American Football League that joined with the National Football League in 1970. AFL-NFL merger, look it up. It's brilliant. Anyway, But back then, those two teams, get ready for this, were the Houston Oilers, which moved to Tennessee, and they were playing the Dallas Texans, who moved to Kansas City. So you had like this all Texas Bowl.
It is pretty neat. Yeah,
that was pretty cool. And then
cool.
It was like the Oilers were going for their third straight championship win, but they lost in double overtime to a field goal. Final score was 20-17. Apparently, it was a great game to watch. After that, the AFL didn't make near as much money as the NFL did, and the Chiefs were like, man, we're losing money because the Cowboys play here, and while the Cowboys in the early 60s were fucking terrible, they were still playing NFL teams that had like a lot of talent, like teams like the Cleveland Browns and the Philadelphia Eagles, the New York Giants, the Baltimore Colts. It's like Johnny Unitas would like come to Dallas to play against the Cowboys, and people went to go see Johnny Unitas play, or Frank Gifford or whoever, even though the Cowboys were terrible. So, but the AFL didn't have like star power like that pretty much until Joe Namath came to play for the Jets, and that was in like '67. So, the losing team of the NFL championship, which I forgot who it even was that year, had made twice as much money per player as the winning team of the AFL championship. Like each player on the Chiefs or on the Texans that year made like $2,200 for winning that game, which is fucking peanuts compared to like we were just talking about these $1 million contracts.
So have they talked about that at all? Like, when they're briefing before a game, when they're all sitting up there talking, like whether it's like Michael Strahan or like Terry Bradshaw or Troy Aikman, they're all like sitting there talking about the game before it starts. Have they mentioned that at all about how this? They used to be the Oilers and the
Texans,
Dallas Texans.
No, I don't think so.
So you're just a ridiculous nerd.
I was just like, all right. And then because of that, I'm like, all right, Tennessee, you got Derrick Henry, you got to fucking do this. This is the out of Texas Bowl for me. Like I kind of wanted the Texans to beat the Chiefs, so the Texans and the Titans would play in Houston, and it would be like playoff game. We'd call it like the Oilers Bowl, whatever. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about a team that moved in 1998. Not mad at all. Whatever. Anyway. Anyway, I'm very excited for that. And fuck the Packers. Go Niners. 49ers better stomp the shit out of the Packers.
I'm sure it's going to be the 49ers. I think it would be... Have the Chiefs gone to...
Chiefs have gone to 2 Super Bowls.
I mean, the Titans haven't.
The Titans have gone to 1 Super Bowl.
They have.
And they lost by 1 yard. Guy dove. He was getting tackled. Dove. Ball landed on the 1 yard line out of time. Lost to the St. Louis Rams.
I feel for you because you like the Oilers. So that's why you're pulling for the Titans. But they're no longer the Oilers.
I know.
And
don't tell me that.
I
know I'm in the wrong millennium.
I find it just more meaningful if I go for the Chiefs, because I'm a Saints fan. So, and that's already
gross.
That's already out. So I mean, the Chiefs are my second string, and just
that actually works out great for you because the Chiefs are in the AFC and the Saints are in the NFC, so they don't really play each other. So like in a playoffs, series, they're not going to play until they meet in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
but
if it had come to that, like Saints versus Chiefs, I probably wouldn't. I'd be happy either way, whoever won.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The last time that the Titans were in the Super Bowl was, I think it was 2001 or 99. It was like right around the turn. It wasn't 2000 because that's when the Giants lost to the Ravens. It was either right before or right after that. And then the last time the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl was Super Bowl 4. In like 1970.
That's funny.
Yeah. They did win it. They went to the first Super Bowl and lost, and then they went to the fourth one and then won.
What was the fourth one? That was in
1970.
1970. Yeah. What was the first one?
That was Packers and Chiefs.
What year? Yeah.
For 1960 whatever.
It wasn't. Oh, okay.
67. Yeah.
So I actually had, and I mean I can't name names obviously because HIPAA, but I had a patient whose son played for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he was a linebacker. And
yeah,
that was
he told me about that.
He was a very nice guy, very successful now. I mean, he played for maybe a couple of years in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And he huge guy, like, at least 6 foot tall.
Yeah, he was an
big,
NFL linebacker.
big and built, but he was very successful, owned his own business, because most of them, I understand, they typically take that money and they, turn it into a business, or they kind of use entrepreneurship.
Well, hell,
after
Roger
that.
Staubach, one of the best quarterbacks the Cowboys ever had and probably will ever have, he had to sell his 2 Super Bowl rings to help finance his business. He doesn't even own his Super Bowl rings anymore.
That sucks ass.
Oh, because back
Can
then
you imagine that?
Yeah, well, back then he didn't get paid shit. Like I was just saying, because the Kansas City Chiefs got like $2,500 for winning that game, or $2,200, something like that. The NFL winner got like $8,000, and then the NFL loser got like $6,500, $6,000, something like that. And the AFL loser only got like $1,700. Granted, $1,700 in 1962 is a shitload of money.
So,
did you ever look up what that tequila was?
I did, but it's probably going to take a little more.
Dang forgot.
No, I did. Here, I'll keep looking.
I'm trying to run a professional podcast here, Ashley.
Well, you demanded my attention, so I had to put it down.
Well, while she's looking that up, I'm going to look up a debt inflation calculator so I can get those numbers right, because let me tell you, inflation is crazy, and it really bothers me how a lot of times you could...
I lied. Sorry, I lied. Ka tequila is spelled K-A-H.
Gross. That's not how you spell that. But at any rate, Sabres are up 2-1 against the Stars into the second. Oh, no. Actually, the Stars are really good in the third, so I'm not worried about it. But, yeah, debt inflation calculator. I was talking to this. I was talking about this earlier today. In 2007, the minimum wage went from $5.25 an hour to $7.25. Its current amount, and it hasn't gone up any since then. And I was trying to think, like in the 80s, like minimum wage was like the equivalent of getting paid like $10 an hour today. And now we're still like lagging behind. And it makes me wonder, how come we don't tie our minimum wage to inflation rates? You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, I was looking at tequila bottles.
Okay, this is the last time I have a fucking woman on this show. I swear to God.
I can't ever fucking win. He's like, please go look this up. Like you said, you're going to look it up, even though I ask you to pay attention to me. And then I go look, and then I get shit for it.
How long did it take you to look that up?
Well,
You're going to what?
I was going to give background.
Okay, well, go ahead. We can hold the inflation rates.
Are you sure?
God, no Congress is. Anyway, go ahead. No,
okay.
Go ahead.
So, Ka tequila is like Day of the Dead tequila. So it's in like painted
Dia
sugar.
de los Muertos.
It's painted sugar skull bottles. And so there's different kinds. Of course, you've got Blanco. It says, and you got to listen to these descriptions. Blanco, initially sweet.
That means what?
Initially sweet, but is quickly followed with a peppery spice, silky and delicate, leaving a sachet of spices on the palate. Ooh. And then this is the one that my mom always had, that my uncle gave her. And it's called Reposado. It's powerful and vicious. Hell fucking yeah, it is. Ultra smooth tequila with a full body of intense agave flavor. So you can look at it. This is what it looks like.
Oh, that looks kind of cool. It doesn't look like the Crystal Head vodka or whatever it's called that Dan Aykroyd.
Oh,
Aykroyd! He keeps promoting.
There's the anejo, which, most of y'all have like anejo, in a lot of your drinks and stuff.
What's that?
It's a tequila, babe. Distinctive by powerful agave flavors, which are accompanied by chocolate, tobacco, and coffee flavors. That might be something you could get into. If I bought you that, would you drink it?
Probably not, because it sounds like it's super sweet and would give me an instant headache.
Oh, you don't know that. Extra Anejo. Limited edition tequila features smooth pepper and smoky wood flavors with hints of sweet spice, vanilla, honey, maple, and caramel. And then, I don't even know how to pronounce this one. Huichol? Exceptional limited edition, selected 100% blue agave. But it's really neat. Don't get the Elevado. That's the Risposado. Unless you like pain, that's fine.
Hey, some people are into that. I'm not gonna hold it against
I would get from reading the description, the Blanco or the Añejo sounds really interesting. The Añejo is the bottle inspired by the Nicaraguan Day of the Dead. And let's see what the...
Oh, it's not all the same. I guess by country they do a different holiday.
I guess.
Huh.
The white one is particularly macabre. How do you say that? Macabre Bolivian tradition of Day of the Dead. I always say macabre for whatever reason, and then I realized, it's not how you say it. Macabre. That's Latin, right? Macabre.
Probably.
There was an Edgar Allan Poe. Son of a bitch. What was it? We had to read it in high school.
See, this is what Moonshine does. It like really makes it really fucking hard to think. It's so sweet.
Is Edgar Allan Poe short story about these guys the Cask of Amontillado. Did you ever read that?
Where he gets a dude drunk and he entombs him.
Yeah, he basically takes him down to the fucking catacombs to find this wine, and he just chains him up in a catacomb and just
lays
mortars
bricks,
all the bricks down and just fucking. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Edgar Allan Poe's stuff, but it kind of messes with me.
Macabre.
And yeah, then that's the first time I ever read that word, and that's what it made me think of. But that stuff really stays with you for a minute.
Anyway, I wanted to go ahead and look into that. And actually, I was wrong on those numbers on the winnings. So the winners of the 1962 AFL Championship made $2,261 each. And that was for all the Texans. The Oilers, the losers, got $1,471 each. Okay, decent sum of money, I guess, for that time. But the NFL game, the winner got $5,888, and then the loser got $4,166. So I was a little off on the numbers there, but I changed.
Why did the NFL?
Because the NFL made way more money than the AFL did. And it was a much older league. The AFL started in 1960, so at this time it was only 3 years old. But at any rate, this is what's funny. If we convert it, $2,261 in 1962 was worth $19,367.18. So if you won the game, you got almost $20,000, like in today's terms. That's not bad. No, that's really not that bad.
So how much do they win today?
Oh, like an average NFL salary?
Yeah. No, like for a Super Bowl, the Super Bowl winners.
I don't think you get bonuses like that anymore.
Really?
No, I think you just have like your general. Because back then it was so much more on like ticket sales, and like how many people like came to games and stuff like that.
But that would only make sense if you win the Super Bowl. There's an incentive for also winning. Besides the fact that you fucking won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but also like you get like chances of better contracts. So I don't think that there is a winning bonus.
Look it up.
Super. Man, this show's just gone to shit.
The show has gone to shit.
The show has gone to shit. Oh, players on the winning team receive a bonus $67,000. Holy shit!
And that's inflation, kids.
Yeah, and the losers get $34,000. So you would have got
that is my fucking yearly salary.
Yeah, like
$34,000.
And that's just
to
for
win
losing.
a game.
Looks like the Patriots are getting a couple of those lately. Anyway, fuck New England. Glad they're out.
Yeah, fuck New England.
Yeah. At any rate, yeah, they had $67,000 for winning the Super Bowl. So really, and that was for the AFL. The NFL got $5,888. Let me calculate that, because in the AFL you would be getting like a third that amount. Ugh, gross. Anyway, let me one more quick pause here. 5,000. Calculate that. So if you won the NFL championship, you would have got the equivalent of $50,435. So not that far off. They've actually kept up with inflation pretty well in regards to it. So because you can do a lot with $50,000. So it was it was in your better interest to try to play for the NFL if you could. But then they wound up merging when the Jets beat the Colts in 1969. What was it? I think that's when Super Bowl 3 was. Anyway, long ass tangent. I need more moonshine. Oh, while I'm pouring this, let me go ahead and preempt you with a question. Okay, so you recently got a new car.
I did.
And how much do you like it? Scale of 1 to 10.
10.
Oh, really? Just okay. So riddle me this: how come when we were like looking at cars and stuff, you're like, and I want to get a sedan, and then you bought a Toyota Camry, which is like the sedan of
but
all
here's
sedans.
The thing. I know, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, it comes down to price, mileage, and fuel efficiency and reliability.
Which isn't that bad.
And so my thing was, I had a Ford Fiesta. And if any of you know about the Ford Fiestas or Focuses within like 2013 to 2016,
the transmission sucked.
They're shit.
Terrible.
They
It was a piece of shit. You got rid of it. You got that Camry, leather interior, fucking balling. We got to put that bitch up on some spinners, put like 210s in the trunk, fuck it, 215s. We're going to put like some underglow purple lights on it. Cool as hell.
So my Fiesta, I probably put in 2 clutches. I replaced the...
Well, you didn't.
Well, I had it under warranty, but still, it was a pain in the dick. Again, yeah, Dan reminds me I don't have a dick. But I feel it's more fun to say pain in the tit. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it came down to the fact that it's really hard to find an SUV. The reason why I wanted an SUV was because I wanted something higher off the ground so I didn't have a lot of road noise.
I told you to get a Bronco.
Yeah, okay.
Like a 94 Bronco,
but
solid white. We could call it the Juice.
But at the end of the day, it's hard to find a fuel-efficient, reliable SUV.
Oh, yeah.
There's the Honda CR-Vs, which are really fuel-efficient, but you're going to pay a shit ton for that. So I found a 2017 Camry SE Toyota, and it had just under 27,000 miles on it. It was a fleet car. It was used for rentals. Came from Florida, but didn't have any flood damage. It was great.
It just had a little gator in the back. It was okay.
I love it. It's great. It was a great price. And so I put some money down on it. And I got it at CarMax, and they gave me a great deal. I got a good trade-in.
Would you recommend CarMax?
Oh, I would fucking absolutely recommend CarMax, because here's the thing. I feel that a lot of people you don't get your money's worth. You get gypped and you get fucked over when you go to a dealership and you buy a new car. Yes, I understand if you want a new car or you get 0% financing, but as soon as you drive it off the lot, the amount it depreciates is just ridiculous.
It's like a quarter of the value, just like shit out. Like
and so, and my thing was, I didn't want to get something new because my Fiesta was new, and obviously there was still some recalls and bugs that need to be fixed. Camrys have a really high reputation of being a good, reliable car. If you go onto carcomplaints.com, most cars have a shit ton of complaints about everything. The Camry barely had any. And of course, every car is going to have some complaint from somebody. Right. But how do we know that's not operator error too?
Yeah, because there's a lot of fucking stupid drivers out there.
Right. But at the end of the day, like, it was just a good car. It didn't have any open recalls on it. It didn't have any accidents or damages. It was just a good car. They probably tried to sell it before it hit like 30,000 miles, because that's what renters and fleet cars.
What did it have, like 27
do.
When you got it?
It's like 26,200 and something. Yeah, so they round up is what they told me. But CarMax was really good. I was afraid they weren't going to, because of the reputation of Fiestas, I was afraid they weren't going to take much from my car. And I don't think that the guy that we were working with thought they were going to take much from my car either, knowing the problems. Because I was very upfront with him, and he was very transparent with me about all the vehicles I wanted to test drive, because they'll let you test drive as many as you want. And he was just very, very transparent about, this is what all this car's been through. This is the history. This is what other people have noted about these kinds of cars. Or if I said, hey, I like that Fiat because I really like small cars. And he's like, do your research, Yeah. So I appreciate the honesty. He wasn't pushy. He wasn't trying to constantly say, are you going to get it? Are you going to get it? He was just trying to see where I was at, what I needed. And if I said I told him several times, I'm not quite ready yet. I'm still thinking about all the steps I need to take, if this is the car I really want. And he was very kind and patient with me, and I appreciate that, because nobody likes a pushy salesman at all.
Oh,
because that just turns you off. But see, that thing drives like butter, and I just love it.
This is what I think is interesting about like the pushy salesman. It's not necessarily the salesman who's pushy. It's like his boss who's a fucking dickhead. He's like, you got to make sales. Like, that's what we're here for. You know, you got to make sales. So, like, it puts so that guy in a bad position. Yeah. And then, like, it makes him look like the jackass to the customer.
Yeah. Well, that's in any kind of sales, whether it's food, clothing, what have you. You're going to have to do that.
When I was the waiter at the movie theater, that rhymes. When I was the waiter at the movie theater, I had, like, the lowest, like, overall ticket averages, because like people are like, you gotta upsell them. Like, if they're trying to get a water, ask if they want a bottled water rather than just a tap, or ask if they like want a large soda or something. Like I'm not gonna do that.
I remember you speaking about it on your very first episode.
Yeah. It's terrible. Yeah. Like it's just like I always felt like super guilty. Like, hey, like I know that this is really expensive, but let me just squeeze like another $15 out of you.
That's so
like,
stupid.
Like fuck you, Gwyneth Paltrow. You fucking vagina candle, just squeezing the money out of like impressionable young girls, young women. Oh my god! Like if she like died from all that dumb shit that she like sells people as like vitamin supplements, and you wind up killing her, I'd be like, that's kind of your just dessert, you asshole.
As a reference to what Dan is talking about, if you watch JonTron on YouTube, he has a bit about Gwyneth Paltrow's like line or company called Goop.
It's so stupid.
That's just go watch it. Just go watch it.
It transcends JonTron. I actually got to use that word. It transcends, but it transcends it because like she's just a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Who's just like, like it's like good vibe kind of shit. Like get the fuck out of here with your good vibes, you cunt. It's disgusting.
About as disgusting as that word you just used. Yeah. But anyway, they gave me...
It's a vagina can. Who wants that? It's sold out. This is more dumb than the Gamer Girl bathwater. Now that I could actually see a reason to buy. But a vagina candle, nobody's ever like, man, that's some good smelling pussy. Everybody's like, no, that smells like a vagina, a functional vagina. Nobody like wants as a candle scent.
Don't you remember my old roommate used to go to Earthbound and get like all the essential oils, and one of them was called Pussy.
Yeah. That's disgusting.
But it actually did smell good. Like I'll give it that. It smelled
like twat.
I want to like. Is there like a scent that twats are supposed to smell like that aren't fishy? Like, because obviously if they're fishy, there's something going on down there. But like,
or you just like got done working out, or it's like July and you've been in a car all day.
I mean, is it always supposed to smell like an armpit by your ass crack or what?
Why are you asking me? I'm not a gynecologist.
But anyway,
like, I barely understand how to even like please a woman. Okay. Why are you asking me this?
But anyway, back to CarMax. This whole loop back to CarMax. They gave me $4,000 for my Fiesta, and that is way more than I could have ever imagined.
You could have bought 2 Ford Rangers for that.
Shut up. But I had a few months earlier, I was looking into getting a Jeep Renegade, and Dan was with me. But I decided not to because the transmissions have some issues from what I read, and I didn't want to go down that road again. But in the process, no pun intended. But in the process of it, they appraised my vehicle, and granted, this was before I got a new clutch put in. But they offered me like, was it $1,000? Or was it $1,500? I think it's like maybe.
I think they offered you
$1,500, and I was like, "Dang!" Like it's still got some juice in it, though.
Also, they're a dealership, so they're gonna like because CarMax, while they are a car dealership, they replenish their inventory by buying cars.
Yeah, they do.
It's like Plato's Closet.
Yeah, but the thing is they will take whatever you bring them. They won't always. Everything that they have has to go through like a 100 or 125 point check, and they can't have any certain kind of damage. They're very thorough. They're good cars, used cars that they have now, and they're going to price it very to what the Kelley Blue Book price is according to like
that's what you
mileage.
Bought your car at. It was like $400 more than what the Blue Book value.
Yeah, it was a great deal, all around. Trade in and everything, and I would definitely say if you want to get a used car, just go to CarMax and just drive what you like. Sit in it for a minute. If you like it, ask them to drive it. Drive several cars. They will ask you if you want to just drive it like you're in the city, if you want to drive it and get it up to highway speeds. And so they have all the time in the world. They're very patient, very transparent. Yeah, definitely recommend. You're going to get your money's worth out of it. Because at the end of the day, right now, I owe $10,338 left on this car. And I plan to pay it off real quick. Yeah. And my interest rate wasn't bad. So. And
by paying off the car, your credit score will
Thank God. It needs to go up.
But see, the good thing about buying a Toyota is you don't have to buy another car for 20 years.
I know, and that's another reason I sat down and thought about it, and I was like, well, a Toyota is just a really reliable car, no matter what kind of Toyota I get. And so and like you said, Camry was
It's the number one selling sedan in the United States.
For how many years?
Oh, it was like 20 years.
So I don't know if
it still is, but it had a very long run.
I'm totally okay with it. And it's already 3 years old, but it's like I got it straight off the lot, so I love it.
You can't even feel the damn thing shift. It's nice.
No, it's nice.
I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
They did not skimp out. Like it's super like user friendly. Like it's like the controls and stuff for it don't look like super complicated for like the radio and all that shit.
Yeah.
Like that's how I feel like with the Fiesta is like all those little buttons just like crammed together.
Mm-hmm.
Like what the fuck? Like this isn't even aftermarket. This is like the stock, and like they thought this was a good idea. Like no, I don't like it. You need to go back to when Ford, like when you just got into a Ford and like it was just a big ass, just long panel all the way across the front, rather than like all this weird shapes and shit.
Yeah.
I also didn't know that stupid dial shifter. A lot of newer cars have that.
Oh yeah. So
Fuck
Dan
that.
and I got into a Fusion because I really liked my dad's Fusion. That was a 2012. It was great. I loved it so much, and he did too. And he kind of cried when he had to give it up. But the newer ones, this is a 2018 that we drove, or was it a 2019?
I thought it was a 16.
Or maybe it was a 16. It was fairly new though. No, the one with the dial shift had to have been like a 2018 at least.
Maybe so. But it's still shifted.
It was a literal dial. Yeah.
It was, well, like, and the new Dodge pickups have that too.
I hate it.
I don't like it.
I mean, what draws you into the Fusion is, one, it's a really nice body style. I like the body style. And when you get in, it's comfortable. It's a luxury car because it had really nice tan leather seats.
That one was like
heated,
that was like
cooled
the high end
seats.
package.
Yeah, and so I think that's how they bring in touch screen stuff. But it's they bring in a lot of people that way. But the minute that I tried to speed up to get in front of traffic, the engine slipped.
Felt the transmission.
And so I was just like, I ain't fucking with this shit anymore. And honestly, I'm tired of going to the Ford dealership and them seeing my face. Because within the past month, I've been up there 4 or 5 times, and I'm done with it.
Well, see, and with my truck being old enough to buy cigarettes nearly at this point, actually, it's almost old enough to buy beer. But at this point, it's if I have issues, but it's it's got 220,000 miles on it. You're gonna have problems. It's just how it works.
Right.
Yours was only 5-year-old vehicle.
I had it for 6 years, almost 7.
Yeah, and it was fucking up on you almost as frequently as mine did.
It started fucking up 4 years in.
Yeah, fuck that. Fuck that. Damn it, Ford, get your shit together. But
yeah, and the 2019, I drove a 2019 one as an auto loan when they were getting my Fiesta fixed. I mean, that one was fine, but I could still kind of feel how it would eventually turn into the same problem
that you had.
As even though they claimed they fixed all the bugs. I'm like, call them bullshit.
Yeah,
call them bullshit. I mean, I love that car though, and if I hadn't had those problems with that car, I would still have the car now because.
Well, yeah.
Besides the clutch and whatever the fuck was grinding at the bottom, it was a good car. It was my kind of size. It was really fuel efficient. I would go a week and a half before having to fuel up. I mean,
it was only like $20 to fill it up too.
Yeah, I mean, of course, depending on gas prices, like
Right.
at
It's
most
like,
$25.
It's like $2.20 a gallon. So.
Yeah.
But see, my truck's got a bigger tank, like sizably larger tank.
Yeah, but we went to Denton, which was about 3-hour drive.
Yeah, it's like a 3-hour drive.
And
it
I
used
filled
like an eighth
up.
of a tank of gas.
Yeah, I filled up beforehand, and Dan got so mad. He's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? 3 fucking hours, and you're not even below an eighth." It's like
I was mildly upset on account of like when I drove it used like a quarter to get there. I think it was more than a quarter.
Yeah.
But whatever. I like my truck. I like it a lot. I cannot recommend Ford Rangers enough to people. People are like, yeah, man, I'm looking to get a new car. It's like, got like $2,000. Like, yeah, it's like, tell you, man, you go on Craigslist like right fucking now. You will find a Ford Ranger for $2,000 or less.
Do they make any Ford Rangers of your year that weren't sticks, or were they all sticks?
A lot of those light trucks are manuals.
Yeah.
I would say like a third to a half of them. Don't quote me on that. But a lot of them are manuals just because like a lot of people, for the most part, like it's easier to find older pickups that are manual. But there's a bunch of them that are automatic too.
Well, that's when we were at CarMax. I really liked, and Dan really liked it too.
There was
the Honda Civic Sport.
It was cool.
But they were all manuals,
Yeah,
and I can't drive a manual. And I was like, damn it.
Okay, there was one car. I don't remember what make and model it was, but it was a 6-speed, and the fucking reverse gear is on like the far top left. It's not where reverse goes. Stop putting it there. I don't like it. I hated it.
I was very intrigued by Chevy makes the Sonic, which you see most people driving. But what I saw, there's a Sonic, which we
is like
see
the size
now,
bigger.
But there's a Spark, which is smaller than that, and like that shit is literally a step up from a smart car because you have no fucking trunk space at all. But it was so simple. It was manual windows. It was.
I think it even had a manual transmission.
No, it wasn't a manual. No,
it was not. No. And it was like a 2017 model with like 20,000 miles on it. And they only wanted like $8,000 for it because like it's such a basic vehicle.
Well, didn't you say it only held like 8 or 9 gallons?
Yeah. The fuel tank was like 9 gallons.
Yeah.
Did you know the motorcycle tanks are usually only like 2 gallons?
Really?
Yeah. Well, they get like 60 miles to the gallon. Oh. Like what all are they moving? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's literally. I mean, you don't get me wrong. Like you can get a big old hog. It's gonna have like a 4-gallon tank or something on it.
So it's so funny that kind of culture because right now we talked about this. I work in the hospital, and right now I have a student. And my student was telling me because her dad's really into motorcycles that they're
cranking his hog.
The culture is the whole ride or die. If I'm gonna die, I'm doing it on my Harley or my Hog or whatever the heck I'm driving. And I have a patient right now who has constantly, according to him, pushed it to the max. He's been in the hospital many times because he's wrecked his motorcycle. And this time, he's like, I've always been leaning into the shoulder a little bit more than I should every time, and sounds like he's got some other problems that we need to talk about, but this man is now a paraplegic because he took it too far. But then his next words are to me, well, I know I can't ride, a bike anymore. But I can do a trike. So when can I get back on? And I'm like, dude, you got back precautions. You don't know how to take care of yourself yet. Let's start with the basics. He's like, no, I gotta get back on. You can't tell me I can't ride anymore. I ain't gonna sit on the porch and watch everybody else ride, and I can't. And I'm like,
freedom on 2 wheels, or I guess 3 in his case.
But it's just so stupid. It's like, dude,
I want a bike.
No,
but I don't.
The fuck you do.
I do. You can't change what I want. But I don't.
I'm gonna take him on a tour of my day-to-day life and show him all the shit I gotta see.
I just do that like what 18-year-olds do. That's not gonna happen to me.
Yeah, that is scared straight shit.
Yeah.
Bikes.
But at any rate, I still would like a motorcycle, but I don't want to have one like living in town, and I wouldn't use it as like a daily driver, mostly because like I'm afraid of some other asshole like not paying attention, just fucking running me over.
You. Yeah. I mean, and granted, you have a high risk of just driving to work in your normal vehicle and getting in a wreck because some dumbass.
But like if somebody T-boned me in my Ranger, I'm not going to be fucking dead at a 40-mile-an-hour collision. But if I got hit with a Suburban and I'm on a motorcycle, probably not going to be able to walk anymore.
Yeah.
So. But at any rate, motorcycles are cool as hell. If I got a motorcycle, I'd pick up cigarettes again just so I could be cool.
Pick up cigarettes again. When did you stop smoking cigs?
I haven't smoked cigarettes in a while. I really hate it when people say cigs. Like, just call them smokes if you want to use something short.
Why the fuck does it matter?
Like, I don't know. Like, the word cigs is like the word that like the girls that say like good vibes use. And it annoys the hell out of me.
Excuse the fuck out of me, mister.
I just hate that word.
I go to smoke through my pipe because I like the aesthetic. And he's never said the aesthetic, but that's what he means. He's like, I like the way it looks. I like the way it tastes.
I like the way that it tastes.
Dan acts like the hipster when it comes to the pipe. He went and bought a pipe at Tobacco Junction, and it looks really nice. It looks like the type that some rich-ass person would be smoking on with like a nice velvet robe and some penny loafers, and they're completely naked underneath. They got bitches on both sides, But the minute I say, oh, let's get you a nice robe, and he's like, fuck no.
When would I wear a robe? When I have the flu?
I don't know. Maybe when you decide to not turn on the heater.
I don't. I don't use the heater. At any rate, okay, first of all, like, pipe smoking and cigar smoking is nice. It's enjoyable. Cigarette smoking is just like, I want to waste money and hurt myself. Like, I've never smoked cigarettes, and like, that was a good idea. Like you wake up and your mouth tastes like nasty-ass cigarettes, your clothes smell like them, then you wind up hanging around people who smoke all the time, and menthol is disgusting. It smells terrible. Hate menthol. Ugh. I would never recommend smoking. Especially like cigarette. 'Cause, like, you could buy like a nice cigar for the same as like a pack of smokes, and that cigar is gonna be far more enjoyable.
I mean, I have family that smokes. I have friends that smoke. It's not my life. I can't sit there and say and be that asshole that's like, well, because at the end of the day, why does it matter? I've given you that talk. I've given you that talk just because I love you, and I hope we have a future together, but I don't want to be taking care of your shut up your ass when you got a trach down your throat because you can't breathe.
Oh.
I'm just saying.
Okay, here's a closing thought we can have. Okay, imagine if you're like a super financial, like responsibly, like you're super financially responsible, but you die at like 30. Like, what was the point of being responsible then?
Okay, but imagine if you lived to be 80 or 90.
Yeah, and then you're fucking like, I get it.
That's true.
But I'm just saying, like, I think it'd be nice if we were like, hey man, you're gonna die when you're like 74. It's like, oh shit, when I turn 65, I'm gonna fucking live it up. You know what I mean? If it's like, hey man, you're gonna die before you're 40. Like, fuck having a savings account. I'm gonna do what I want. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't want to know. Yeah. Ignorance is bliss.
I don't mind knowing. It wouldn't. I guess I say that it wouldn't bother me, and they like told me. Like, oh,
I think that'd give you some severe anxiety once it got to the age, and you're like, when the fuck is it?
I think I would be incredibly nihilistic. Because it's like, doesn't matter.
And maybe
I'm just going to do all the drugs.
And maybe that's what ends up killing you because you just are like, well, fuck my life. And
that's fair.
And the whole idea of knowing, is what killed you.
Like, I just say, like, being financially responsible is, like, such a fucking gamble. You can, like, get your 401k set up and, like, oh, I'm focused on retirement and everything. Like, die before retirement happens.
I have been working for over a year at the hospital, and I have yet to set up my 401k.
Wow.
This is how I see it. I've got other shit to take care of right now. And yeah, I can put back whatever I want for a 401k. And I hear all the elders say, oh, you really should put back if you can. And it's like, okay, Nancy, yes. However, I am already very tight with my money.
Looks like I'm going for the right type of girl, if you know what I mean.
Well,
rub shekels together.
I'm just saying, like, I do want a good nest egg for myself. I'm not gonna fuck myself over. I'm gonna be as financially responsible as I need to be. When I put back for my 401k, I want it to be once I get this new degree and I have a little more money in my bank, and I'm definitely going to have a steady job. And while I have a steady job now, I'm going to start school, and basically my supervisor's already let me know, hey, when it gets to that time where you got to work for free for like 24 weeks, we can't let you work on the weekend, so you're going to have to figure your stuff out.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Might as well put back now.
I could, save for my 401k in these 2 years that I'm working here, but at the end of the day,
yeah,
how much is that going to be?
Yeah.
I'm already doing that now just by saving my money and not blowing it and all the stuff.
Yeah, that's why I didn't pay on my student loans when I got a sizable tax return 2 years in a row, because I'm like, it's a drop in the bucket when I could use the $1,400 like right now for a lot of other things rather than trying to pay off $13,000.
Yeah. And so by the time I have this new job, like, okay, I'm 23 right now. It's going to take me about 2 years in school, give or take.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be maybe 25, maybe 26 by the time I start putting back for my 401k. That's still really young, though.
Eh.
I'm not worried.
Nah.
I'm not worried at all. And I'm not asking for this, like, luxurious, extravagant life of retirement. I'm looking for comfort.
Big pimping. Shit, I'm going to get a Winnebago, just be balling on y'all scrubs. Anyway, once again, we had Sugar Tit Blueberry Moonshine. We didn't even drink that much of it. It's so fucking sweet. I'm not, like, super big into sweet liquors, but it's nice. I would recommend it. For sure. I look forward to drinking more of it at a later time, but tonight is not the time. At any rate, enjoy the last 3 professional football games. Congratulations to LSU for winning the national title.
Woo-hoo.
Hockey season is midway through. We're on the last half of the regular season. Go get some tickets to your local teams.
Dallas Stars. Dallas Stars.
Go and support your teams. Is there anything you have to say in closing?
Rock out with your tits out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
You know what? Actually, let's do that. Like now. Like right now. Just bust them out. Anyway,
and that's all we have for tonight.
Yeah. As always, if you'd like to write into the show, you can email us at whiskeydanradio@gmail.com. If you have any topics for future shows, like to be on the show, or would like to have an alcohol for me to talk about. Like I said in the last couple episodes, if you'd like to meet up with me in person, if you give a shit, I'm usually at Yamato on Wednesday night for open mic night hosted by Mike, who's also been on the show. Great fella. They do a great setup there. Check it out. Also, their wine up there is like $3 on Wednesday night. So if you're a wino, like Ashley is,
big glasses,
you could definitely go up there and get trashed for like $9.
Oh, and the beer is what?
It's like $4.50.
Yeah.
Depending on what you get. Would recommend it. It's at Yamato in Tyler on the southwest end of the loop. Check it out Wednesday nights. Other than that, I believe that's all that I have for today. Thank you for listening. And slap that motherfucking subscribe button, because I'm trying to get 100 subscribers, because I don't... Just tell your friends. I just want to get the custom URL. That's all I'm wanting to do. I just got to have 100 subscribers. Like, if I get 100 subscribers, I will do the show naked. Wait a minute.
Hell.
Anyway, on that, signing off. Thank you for listening. Blueberry Sugar Tit Moonshine. Hey, so hold up.